7, and this is Dark Souls 3. Um, this is not a continuation of my Dark Souls 3 Let's Play, because, as you can see, my character got deleted. I had a character named Purist that I was running the game through, and it got deleted. I still have this, other character, but, it got deleted because there was a problem with my Xbox. It wouldn't start up, so I had to do factory reset after nothing else worked, and it deleted most save data that wasn't stored on the cloud. So I still have this character, so that's awesome. But the character that I was running the game through, through on my Let's Play, was not was deleted. So now I am playing an online mode so I can play PvP. So one thing I've been doing in my spare time, I've been playing. I played Dark Souls 2. I went on one of my characters and I started playing through New Game Plus for the first time on Dark Souls 2. I'd always not really done New Game Plus. I mean, I did a little bit of it in the original Dark Souls and a little bit in Dark Souls 2, but this is the first time. I'm almost finished the whole game in Dark Souls 2 on New Game Plus, which was actually pretty easy. It only took a few days to get through it. Okay, now we're online. But one thing I found out about Dark Souls 2 is that New Game Plus was actually easier than New Game, which I didn't expect at all. I was breezing through New Game Plus. It was weird. I didn't expect it to be like that. I expected it to be harder. But I guess that's one of the things about Dark Souls 2. I think Dark Souls 2 is the easiest out of all the Dark Souls games. I think Dark Souls 2 is the easiest. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm gonna do some PvP, so I'm gonna lay down a red soapstone. Hopefully I can get summoned for some PvP. But Dark Souls 2 is the easiest. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Ha! So, and I always kind of wanted to talk about this, the comparisons, you know, about Dark Souls 3 to Dark Souls 2 to the original Dark Souls. There's a lot of things about the series that I would like to talk about, and I've mentioned some of them before in some of the other parts of my Let's Plays. But, that was a long time ago, and I don't even remember which videos they were, so I'll just talk about it again here. So, one of the things about Dark Souls 2 is the consumable items, and I know that was a little bit of a controversial issue. The consumable items like the life gem. So what ended up happening was, for me, the life gems seemed to just go on forever. I never, in my entire life, in all of my playthroughs of Dark Souls 2, ran out of life gems. Never! There were always more and more life gems. I mean, there were a couple times where I started to get low on life gems, but then I would just find more life gems in the world. By the way, I've never purchased any life gems. I would just find them on corpses and loot drops and stuff like that. I never buy life gems. But, I would always end up with, you know, 50 or 60 life gems at a time. It got to the point where I had so many life gems that it actually made more sense to use the life gems first rather than using the Estus first, even though the Estus regenerates itself. I just had way more life gems than Estus. And I never seemed to run out of life gems. So I always had tons of life gems. If you don't believe me, you can watch my my Dark Souls 2 Let's Play. That I actually finished, by the way. I actually finished. I beat the game. The entire game and went to every area and beat every boss. And, and I did it with, spells only, by the way. If you want to see a spells only Let's Play of Dark Souls 2, you can... A spell only Let's Play. Okay, here's somebody else, just somebody. A spell only Let's Play of Dark Souls 2. I did spells only, no melee weapons at all whatsoever at any point. So I used only spells and nothing else. If I can remember to do so, I'll put a link, a card up in the upper hand corner, so like you can see my Dark Souls 2. But I always had tons of life gems at all times, and I never ran out of life gems. So that was one reason why Dark Souls 2 was so easy. Another reason why Dark Souls 2 was way too easy is because the bonfires were way too close together. I talked about this numerous times during that Let's Play. The bonfires in Dark Souls 2 are just way too close together, combined with the fact that, uh, unable to summon. Combined with the fact that, you can travel, teleport between bonfires immediately. That it creates a situation where there were a lot of bonfires in the game that I only sat at once. I sat at the bonfire once and never ever visited that area ever again. Which kind of defeats the whole point of Dark Souls. I'm not saying that Dark Souls needs to have a lot of backtracking, but visiting an area only once and never looking at it again it kind of just seems like a waste. I mean, I'm not just talking about a waste of, like, the artwork and stuff, because I don't get a chance really to appreciate it as long as I really should. The artwork, assets, all that stuff. But it's... I don't know, it kind of defeats the whole... So why aren't I able to summon anybody? It's very different from what the original Dark Souls were. Able to summon this one? That able to summon? I can summon. I mean, oh yeah. So, you know, it came to the point in Dark Souls 2 where the bonfires are so close together where there are some points in the game there was actually one bonfire I didn't sit at all because it was actually so close to the next bonfire. All I had to do was consume one of those herbs that restore your spell uses. And that's all I needed. Okay. You better get up. The affinities are coming to get you. I keep calling these pursuers. They shouldn't have changed the name of this spell. This spell should keep being called pursuers. I'm gonna get you. Oh my god. He dodged all of them. I probably should have did better. Probably should have did my timing better on some of those spells. When he was rolling, I should have timed it better so that when he come out of the roll, the spell would hit him. Anyway, um, I just haven't played this game in so long that that's just what ends up happening. So, yeah, Dark Souls 2 is a little bit too easy. In fact, there were some parts of the game that they patched in order to make it more easy. No Man's Wharf is one area that they did that. No Man's Wharf, they patched it to make the game easier. In Dark Souls 2, No Man's Wharf was the area that was on release. The area was dark and didn't have it had torch sconces around the area, but none of them were lit. Braziers, you light with your torch to light up the area. None of them were lit, so you had to go through that area and basically carve your way through the area by lighting the sconces as you go. And if you don't light the sconces, if you basically you're not carrying a torch with you at all times, then those dark stalkers will get you. They're the black enemies that kind of look like spiders, and dark stalkers will get you if you're not careful. So what they did was they patched the game so that some of the braziers were already lit. Which I don't even know why they did, just to make the game easier. But that area was actually, I loved that area back when it was harder. Oh, got him that time. That actually looked like it was supposed to hit him. Oh, we hit each other at the same time, but I died and he didn't. Okay. Ah, well, I got closer to getting him this time. A third time, I'll get him. Okay, so yeah, I actually loved No Man's Wharf back when it was harder. How many of these embers I got? Only a few embers, not very many. I loved No Man's Wharf when it was harder. It was awesome. But then when they made it easier, the area actually got boring because it was too easy. I don't know why they had to make that area easier by lighting the braziers before you even got there. So all the braziers were already lit. So there was no need, because before you basically had to carry a torch around with you during the whole time. Uh, and also, by the time you get to No Man's Wharf, you usually don't have very many flame butterflies. So it's not like you can just strike up a torch whenever you wanted. So it was difficult. It was difficult to get through, but it was satisfying when you got all the way through it. There was only one bonfire in the entire area, and that's at the very beginning. At the very beginning of the area. And you don't get another bonfire until you've gotten all the way through the area and killed the boss. So it was very, very challenging. It was very difficult. And then, just simply by lighting all the braziers ahead of time, they made they made that area much easier. Where's the host at? Oh, there he is. I didn't even see him. Well, who's gonna come down here? That looks like it was supposed to hit him, but I guess not. Okay, we got him. Okay, this guy, I think I can get him. Oh my god, he's just dodging everything. I only have like 2 Estus left. Oh, dang. Frostbitten, but I was already dead. Well, that was interesting. He was just sitting around waiting for me to empty all of my focus. That's what happened. Sitting around waiting for me to empty all my focus. Anyway, so this is basically just a part 2 of my last Dark Souls 3 video. I was doing PvP, and I was doing PvP, and I was explaining my strategy. So, what I'm doing here is actually really similar to what I've been doing in pretty much all the other Dark Souls games, using distractions to keep my enemy distracted and basically force them to roll or move in a certain direction. And uh, in order to be able to 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 hit my opponent, even if they're trying to avoid it, the spells. And so in Dark Souls 1, I would use. I actually made a video on this. I would use commonly what's that called? Poison Mist. So I use the Poison Mist Pyromancy to conceal myself. You can't actually see me, so you don't know when I'm actually going to cast the spell. And my opponent would stand on the other side of the Poison Mist, and it would make them a very, very easy target for the Soul Arrow. And here, now that I have pursuers instead of calling it affinity. Look at all these phantoms, man. How is this even possible? Let's see, you can have how many phantoms? 5 yeah, you can. You can have 5 phantoms at a time. You can have 5 phantoms at a time. With the dry finger. All this. Who died? Oh, the guy who killed me keeps killing everybody else. I was actually kind of rooting for the other guy. He's the person. General Ram. Guy with the big cleaver looks intimidating. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm gonna win this one. I wonder who will... Is it gonna be the scythe guy or the cleaver guy? I think cleaver guy is gonna win. Oh, he did! He won! The cleaver guy. What the heck? What's wrong with you? We're in the Ring of Thorns. Or the Armor of Thorns. I think that's what it's called. Anyway. Whoops. See, that spell looked like it was supposed to hit him. Oh, he's blocking it. Oh, he stumbled or whatever. Stunned him, or whatever that thing's called. Logan? That's like Wolverine. What the hell is wrong with that guy? Okay, I guess I'll wait for another Dark Spirit. I'm running out of Estus, though. I can only keep this up for a little bit longer, and then once I run out of focus, I can't go on any longer. I can't go on any longer after this. I think another phantom is coming in. Tillman of Astora. Where's he at? But which one of them is gonna come and face me? What the hell? Dude, what the hell is he doing? Oh, he ruined my affinity. He ruined it. Oh, we hit each other at the same time, but I obviously took more damage. What the hell was that? Aw, come on, man. Crazy, I tell you. Oh, well. Well, at least I got 2 in a row. That's nice. I got 2 in a row. Anyway, yeah, Dark Souls 2 is the easiest of all the Dark Souls games. Now the question is it too easy? I think yes, it's too easy. Dark Souls 2, especially when I did New Game Plus. So what happened was, for New Game Plus, before I moved on to New Game Plus, I farmed for as many Twinkling Titanites as I could find, and upgraded all of my equipment to +5. Sunset Staff, Exo's Armor, and just for fun, I went ahead and I got the Desert Sorceress set, because it looks amazing. So I did all of that. Got everything to +5. And then I went into New Game Plus, and I found that there wasn't very much of a big difference. The enemies that I used to kill in one hit, back in regular New Game, I'm still killing in one hit in New Game Plus. The enemies that used to take 2 hits to kill still taking 2 hits to kill now. So it seems that nothing actually changed, and what what's even compounds the issue is that I'm starting with all the good equipment and all the spells already unlocked. It's actually harder in regular New Game than it is in New Game Plus, because in New Game you have to get all the equipment. You start out with nothing, and then you build up later on. But in New Game Plus, you start the game with everything. Already on all the spells, all my armor and rings and all that stuff already unlocked. So basically, I'm starting the game at maximum power, and so once you do that, really not. I mean, it's true that the enemies now have more HP, but I'm also doing more damage, which means it canceled each other out. So really, what happened was I was playing New Game Plus, but it still felt like I was playing regular New Game. There were a few here and there, a few surprises, a few extra things. There's a few phantoms and stuff like that, but otherwise it's pretty much the same as regular New Game. At least for me, it was. The experience was not more difficult at all. It was, in fact, I would say that New Game Plus is easier than New Game. I breezed through New Game Plus easily. I beat New Game Plus faster than I beat New Game. I went through it way faster. I had all the items unlocked. I had tons of amber herbs so I could replenish my spells whenever I wanted to. And so it was really easy. I mean, when you're going through a new game, you don't have tons of amber herbs in your inventory to replenish your spells. So you gotta use your spells carefully. But in New Game Plus, I had like... well, most of those herbs came from, like wilted dusk herbs came from farming the desert sorceresses because it took a really long time for the top to drop. I got the gloves and the bottoms and the hood. All I needed was the top. And for some reason, it just wasn't dropping. I farmed for like an hour before it finally dropped. Even with all the stuff, the gold ring, the gold serpent ring, and the jester hat, the tattered robes, all that. I did everything. I even used lucky coins. Lucky coins. Like Lucky Quinn. Lucky Quinn. From, Watch Dogs. They gave away Watch Dogs, the first Watch Dogs, for free as part of Games for Gold. Games with Gold. And, I got it, and beat it, because I already had the Xbox 360 version of Watch Dogs, but I didn't play it very much. And then I purchased the PC version of Watch Dogs, and then I got everything in the game. In the PC version of Watch Dogs, I got, I'd unlocked everything there is to unlock, pretty much, in the game. And I'd gotten every achievement except for the, the online contracts, the multiplayer things. I didn't do any of that stuff, but I did do everything single player. I got all the collectibles and everything else. And it was actually pretty easy and fun. So, I did it again on the Xbox One. I got the Xbox One version of Watch Dogs, and I got pretty much 100% completed the game. So that was easy, that was fun. And then after you 100% complete the game, there's literally nothing else to do. Oh, and when I played Watch Dogs on the Xbox One, I actually did the digital trips. I didn't do the digital trips earlier, but when I played it on previous platforms, but I used the digital trips in my Xbox One playthrough, and it was absolutely amazing. I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. So, that's how it went. Okay. Okay. Going to waltz up to him. Let the affinities get him. What the hell? Why you just stand there and do nothing? What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be fighting. Oh, that's the cleaver guy from earlier. Can't believe I didn't recognize his helmet. Okay. Well, you gotta fight now, okay? Because we're fighting. I know he can't hear me. Now. Gotta go. Okay, now. Now we fight. Ah, he dodged it. That didn't even hit me, even though it should have. Oh, I can't believe I was just about to do that. Ah, I should have waited. I should have waited to use the replenishment. I should have waited. I should have waited, bacon. I would eat only you, bacon. But you can't eat only bacon. Ah, that's from Jim Gaffigan's King Baby. Okay, let's do another. I almost won that one. If only I hadn't have. If only I hadn't used the bountiful light. I would have gotten him. I would have gotten him. Gotten him. I would have gotten him. So, as I was saying, I like to use distractions. In Dark Souls 3. So, two of the main distractions I use are Affinity and Crystal Hail. These are the two spells that I use before I use either Soul Great Soul or Great Soul Arrow. And the reason why I use them is because it forces my opponent to roll. Crystal Hail and Affinity force my opponent to roll in a certain way, and then I can get them when they're reach the very end of their roll before they're able to uh, what the heck was that? Oh, he shot me with a bow or something. Oh, dang. Ah, dang. I'll play one more. You know, I like Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 playing as a pure spellcaster is sufficiently difficult. I like it. It's very challenging, and that's the way I like it. Dark Souls 2 is just not as challenging as Dark Souls 3, so it doesn't feel as satisfying when you beat it. Um, Dark Souls 1 doesn't have very many options for spellcasters at all. One thing that I do like about Dark Souls 2, though, is it because the way the hex system works. It provides a really good incentive for people to put points in only intelligence and faith, and pretty much nothing else. Intelligence, faith, and attunement, and that's it. I mean, I've been doing stuff like that in the original Dark Souls, but there's no real reason to. There's really no need to. There's no benefit in doing all that. But in Dark Souls 2, there's a really good benefit to putting only points in intelligence and faith. You'll not be very strong with melee weapons, but if you can handle the spells correctly, you'll be alright. And I think that was awesome. And yeah, I really love the way hexes work in Dark Souls 2. Intelligence and faith, and you have to have equal amounts of them in order to basically count. You have, 40 intelligence but only 10 faith, it's not going to be very good. You have to have equal amounts of intelligence and faith. And that's something that the original Dark Souls was missing. Now, they do have something that's a little bit like that in here with the dark sorceries like Black Fire Orb and stuff like that. See, they require equal amounts of, where's affinity at? He's a Dark Souls. Why didn't they require faith? Well, that's ridiculous. Dark Souls 3 lowers that a lot, I've noticed. You know, there are a few spells that require both intelligence and faith, but there's not very many. Now you want to stay away because I'm doing affinity right now. Oh, he's the guy. He's gonna die. I know I can win this. What? A connection error? Oh my god. I was just about to get him! I was just about to win! Maybe I'll do one more of these battles and then I'll go. Uh, I do love Dark Souls 3. I don't know. Which do I like better, Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3? I don't know. Dark Souls 3 is more difficult. But I think that Dark Souls 2 is actually more fun to play because of the things they have for mages, the hex system that they don't have in Dark Souls 3. I love the hex system. I have no idea why they got rid of it. Um, this hex school of magic. Was awesome. One thing about Dark Souls 2 that they never fixed, I have no idea why they didn't fix it, is the status screen. Because the status screen doesn't actually display your current stats, it just displays your base stats. It doesn't display all of your stats put together with your, Ram. That's the same person from last time. Let's get him for a revenge match. And, I don't know. I love both. I love them both. I love both Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. And Dark Souls 1. I love all the Dark Souls games. I don't know which is the best. Honestly, I don't know which is the best. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. Um, I mean, Dark Souls 1 is perfectly balanced, but it doesn't have very many options for spellcasters. So it's really not too fun to play as a spellcaster because they really don't give you very much to work with. Dark Souls 2 is a lot better in terms of options for spellcasters. And then Dark Souls 3 just seems to turn those options a little bit more back down. Although Dark Souls 3 does have some really interesting spells. Like Farron Flash Sword and stuff like that. Ah, same guy from earlier! Did he just stand there and let himself get hit by a spell? Kinda weird, eh? Aw, dang. You got me. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a day. How many did I win? Like half of them? Half the fights? I'll take that. I'll just call it a day. I'll call it a day. Thank you, everyone, very much for watching. make sure you please click that icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to see my other Dark Souls videos. I'll link to my Dark Souls 3 Let's Play because I finished most of the game. I finished almost the entire game before this whole thing happened. So, I have almost a complete Let's Play of Dark Souls 3 on, with every weapon. I mean, not every weapon. What am I saying? With only spells and no melee weapons. And I've been going through and I'd been killing every boss and things like that. So, click that icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to see my other Dark Souls 3 videos. And what I'll do is I'll even link the Dark Souls 2 Let's Play, so you can see that. And it's the same principle. Only spells and nothing else, and melee weapons. So, in Dark Souls 2. So, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.